My name is Ciara Green. I am in EDL 701 for the spring 2019 semester. This is my midterm exam. I'm choosing to do the 2 to 4 minute video. What have I learned about PLCs so far? I've learned that PLCs help to unite teachers, students, and community members. They make a difference in students' lives and learning. They also allow educators to come together in order to collaborate, work, and just understand each other as a whole. Understand other staff members, understand students, understand misconceptions, and just how to push the school forward and improve student learning, student experience, and even staff existence inside of a building. It really helps the building come together and work as a well-oiled machine. It allows educators to foster relationships that they wouldn't normally foster, and it allows a different type of insight for the student and for the staff member, and it creates like a harmonious way for everything to work together in harmony. PLCs also gives teachers something to work with and to draw from. A lot of times there's PDs where you get a boatload of information and then there's really nothing to do moving forward. PLCs happen very often, so you always have something to draw from. You have a takeaway. You actually know what plan you're pushing forward, and you have a place to go back and realize, okay, this is the work I'm doing. This is the goal that I'm working towards. It's not just like a PD and then it's over and you're confused about what you're doing. My questions that I need answered are, how just can I continue to push a PLC within my school, within my organization? How can I continuously be an open-minded learner? How can I create better PLCs? How can I foster those relationships with other educators if there isn't a PLC in place? How is the best way for me to implement one, and not just a PLC, but a successful PLC? I think that the most important thing that I have learned thus far would have to be the personality test, the love language, the directions. It really just gave me an insight of how different, individuals are. You don't really think about it as much, but how different people respond and react, and your love language, and, how you take feedback and things that you appreciate. And I think that it just really spoke to working in the building, because you have so many different people. You have so many different children, so many different educators, and everybody needs something different. And just being able to take that test, see how beneficial it is, and see how it helps others just really resonated with me. And it's something that I'm going to keep and use in my classroom and as I move on into leadership. In an ideal PLC, I would include 6 steps that I took from the Education World article, Best Practices for Professional Learning Communities, and they just broke down an overview of study, select, plan, implement, analyze, and adjust. So studying, unpacking standards with other teachers, collaborating, getting an understanding of the standards and learning objectives, selecting, picking the standards, and finding evidence-based research that supports these methods that we're introducing to our students, things that have proven to be successful, not just things that we're just coming up with and hoping that it's actually going to work. Select, picking the standards that we want to hone in on, and having strategies of how we will roll out these standards. Planning, collaborating with teachers to have those lesson plans that are aligned to these standards, and supporting in other areas so that teachers are not teaching completely different things at one time, making it easier for the educator and the student to grasp the concept, actually retaining the knowledge. Planning. I'm sorry, I just said planning. Implementing, actually rolling out the lesson in its entirety, how it was discussed, following through, not really making too many modifications or changes, but just actually putting forth that good plan that your PLC has created. And then lastly, analyzing, reviewing that student work, looking for growth, looking for misconceptions, areas that need to be fixed, things that need to be tailored, and then being able to bring that back to your PLC and understanding what steps you need to take to move forward to have a better outcome. Not just having data and sitting on it, but actually going back to your PLC and being able to use that data for the greater good to continue to create change in your classroom and success with your scholars. Lastly, an effective PLC must-have. My must-haves for an effective PLC are actually also pulled from some resources that we learned in class. So according to Learning by Doing, in my opinion, an effective PLC should have shared missions, values, and goals. Everyone should be on the same page. We should all have the same interests in mind. I should not be on A and you should not be on B, because that causes confusion inside the classroom among staff members. We should all have the same mission, values, and goals. We might word it differently, but the focus should be in the same place, and everybody should be on one page. Number 2, collaborative teams that are focused on learning. You have to have individuals who want to collaborate, who want to learn, who want to grow, and who want to push one another. We don't want to have complacent groups. We want to have groups of people who are ready to do this work. It's not easy, but they want to take charge and get it done. Number 3, collective inquiry. You want to have people who are always looking for the next way to get better. You do not want to have people who are stuck in their ways, who are not open to trying new things, because a lot of people have the mindset of, if it's not broke, you don't have to fix it. But with our scholars, with education, you need a consistency, but you also need a change at times. And you need to know that in order to grow, sometimes you have to step outside of that comfort zone. So just always driving force. How can we do better? How can we better serve students? How can we push this home? How can we drive this point home? If this isn't working, how can we get better? Number 4, an action orientation. You do want people who are going to talk the talk, but you want people who are also going to walk the walk. So you want people who are going to talk, they have their game plan, they're going to put that game plan into action. When they leave the PLC, they put it into place. They don't just talk about it in the PLC, they don't make excuses, they create that action. And number 5, the results orientation. So you talk the talk, you rolled it out in class, now you have the results. Maybe they're wonderful, maybe they're horrendous. Either way, you have that data. You go back to your PLC, you see what was done correctly, you see what might have gone well, you see what needs to be fixed, and then you have a viewpoint, you have this baseline data, you know what you can do next. So these are all of the things that I've learned so far, what I think is very important, and what I would include in my own personal PLC.